Welcome back to another edition of the O Show podcast, episode 412 of the O Show, and we are presented by Mayweather Boxing and Fitness in Scottsdale, Arizona. I just received word today that they will be opening up Halloween weekend in October, late October. Get your membership now. Mayweather Boxing and Fitness is an inclusive, high-intensity fitness experience developed by the champ Floyd Money Mayweather himself. We are also sponsored by betonline.ag. Get your 50% bonus now, week 5 of the NFL. Make your picks. Today, again, episode 412 of the podcast. We're presented by Mayweather Boxing and Fitness. We got Elliot Saldivar in the house. I use my thick Seattle accent for you there. We got Sean, Mr. Pedrick in the house. What do you do? Why are you here? I didn't know you were coming.
I had no idea I was going to be on, honestly.
I had no idea you were coming.
Yeah.
So this is what you get. And Zach Kelly in studio on camera today. He's single. He's good looking. There he is, single and looking. Winky face.
I'm a kid in a candy store.
There you go, Zach.
There we go.
There you go.
There it is.
Took you a little while. That's strike one. You have
right,
3
well-
strikes on the show today.
All right. I gotta step
And
my
then I'm
game
going to have
up.
Hank escort you out of the studio.
The studio or the whole building?
That's a stupid question. That's strike 2. Elliot, you
Yes.
got something to promote. I think we actually have it right here. Hank put a little present underneath. Here it is. Broken record. Broken record. It is indeed in one piece, though. There's the actual broken record. So you made your own vinyl, and then you tore it to shreds.
Well, no, I actually got that from. It's just a random thrift store vinyl got it for 50 cents. But
Well, that's
you would
disrespectful.
you would never know because it's really far away. So
What record was it?
I don't know actually. I bought 4 of them because we had to do multiple takes because they were surprisingly hard to break.
Like some guy named Ed Sheeran. Nobody gives a shit.
No, Ed's been putting out some bangers lately.
I did like his collaboration album that he put out, I think 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
He did some really cool stuff on that album. Had a rock track with Chris Stapleton and Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars, yes.
He did a rap track with Eminem and 50 Cent.
I like that one. The Remember My Name. That one's good.
He did a lot of good stuff. But you've been coming out with a ton of stuff lately. You
Yeah.
know? You're a filmmaker. You're a musician. Mainly the music stuff, though, because you have yet to edit our film, University.
Ooh.
Well,
1 year later.
Yikes.
It definitely is a work in progress, yes.
Why is that? Sean too lazy to edit it?
I don't know.
I
It's
just have a lot of stuff as well.
We're both busy guys, It's my senior year, so I don't know. I want to make sure it's good, and I want to make sure I can devote the time I want to devote to it.
That was a passion project, right?
Yeah.
You had us get up at 3 in the morning every day for 2 weeks. Here we are 10 months later, and it's still not finished.
When you put it that way.
You're too busy. You've been putting out singles like every other month. You have time to do that, time to edit those together, time to put those together.
Yeah, that is true.
This doesn't add up.
See, there's only so much time. I feel slightly called out. Yes, it's true.
So the one thing I asked you for today, and I'm like, he better bring it. And I was telling Hank before, I'm like, what's the over-under that Elliot actually brings this clip from the film University that we did 10 months ago? And he's like, the odds are as big as the Seattle Mariners making the postseason this year.
Oh.
Which, it's a jab because they haven't made the postseason in 21 years, 2001, so 20 years. It's the longest drought in Major League Baseball. But at the same time, I'm like, those are pretty good odds because they're like a game and a half out with 5 games left to go. And yeah, so it's either oh, hell no, or he might come through. And for once, Elliot, for once, he came through. So we're going to play a clip right now of your University film. It's a scene where I get jumped by a bunch of security guards. Again, this was filmed at 3:30 in the morning, where me and old Hanko, Hanku, have a fight scene. And I look completely different in it. It was a long time ago. Again, it's been 10 freaking months. Yeah. But here it is from Elliot's film, University.
And action. What are you doing out here?
So back to my dorm.
Let me see your hands.
See, that's method acting at its finest, because I actually was beating up Hank in that scene. Can you imagine having Hank running at you with a taser like that?
Look at that from Hank the Tank.
I didn't have to imagine
Really
I
pushed
was
you through.
there. It was very scary.
We did that like 50 times, too.
Yeah.
And Hank and I were actually hitting each other in the face.
I think there's like
our knuckles were pretty bloodied,
Hey, Jack.
I got to admit.
Was the audio much better in post?
Was it?
I don't know. It sounded like crap right now. Sorry, just had to interject as the audio expert here.
I don't know.
Did you guys record really good audio for that scene?
Oh yeah, that was a very rough cut. Like we literally took the footage. I sent that to my DP, who then
Okay.
did like a really rough like audio edit. So this is still very early in the post.
So see, he kind of came through, but not really, because it wasn't actually the best take. It was just one of them.
That was like a very exclusive like clip preview. Like so
That's like the first official sneak peek.
since like anyone's seen from the film basically.
Trailer number 1, basically.
Shut up, Zach. So how many films have you done throughout your time at GCU? Because you went to journalism school in high school,
Yeah. So
which we don't have at GCU.
Yeah, so I like started getting really into filmmaking in high school with my broadcast journalism class. And I did kind of some fun series. We did like a spin-off of The Office called The Classroom, which is pretty fun, I guess. We did like 3
Was
episodes.
it basically The Office, just you guys?
Yeah.
So it's not really a spin-off.
But here's the thing, I have a history of like, it's not a spin-off, I guess it's just kind of like a parody. But I have a history of like not delivering things on time because
we know.
Like the whole school, like we did episodes. So there's 3 episodes, and I was kind of like the guy running it, and it was like everyone was like, "When's the next episode gonna come out?" Because it was all like we only could have our class time to produce it. So that was this. Just saying, there's a history of Elliot being late to deadlines. So
He's like the Kanye West of the film industry.
Please explain that analogy, Sean.
Well, Kanye West with the Donda album, it was like over almost 2 years of being late, and he finally released it like a month ago. So yeah, like he would just keep giving us like snippets of the album and then not deliver. So
that's an interesting hat.
thank you.
If that analogy continues, that means we should expect University 2 years after filming then, if it keeps up with Donda. That's about what we...
Yeah.
If you're really the Kanye of filmmaking.
no, here's the thing though, Donda was not even released willingly. Like basically same situation. It was like people just kept like the record label literally released it because it was just so long. So I feel like that might be the same situation here. Like record label is just gonna push me.
Jack, you're a record
It's just
label?
gonna push me to release
This
it.
analogy is getting deeper. I like this.
As soon as the footage is coming out, you're like, it's gonna get out one way or another. So
It's already leaked. You already
Yeah.
gave me one. It's coming out one way or another. I'll text Aaron.
sure.
I know he's got a lot of stuff.
maybe if you snuck into my room and like stole the hard drive.
I have the footage.
I don't have the energy to do that. You're the editor. This is
I'm-
really
I'm-
on you.
I'm an
You have the
assistant
footage.
editor. My main role for that short was the producer. I gave a lot of the equipment to Elliot and the team.
Yes, this is true.
How was the return on that equipment? Speaking of terms of his delivery time, how was the return? Like, how quickly did you return that equipment?
Pretty well. It took like a few weeks to like, hey, I want my stuff because I have to shoot other stuff. But it was very well.
Look at that. See, Elliot, that's improvement. That's what
But
we have to do.
a flaw was my lights broke.
Okay,
During
well-
the shoot.
You didn't have to say that.
It wasn't Elliot's fault, but it just happened.
You know, things
It
happen.
was Kanye's fault. That's
It
what
was
we can all
Kanye's
come
fault.
down to.
Maybe
Yeah,
he could have been on.
he was on set.
Maybe there's
messing
a-
with the
That's why
lights.
Donda
There's
was
no-
delayed. He was filming University.
There's no
it out.
Kanye Canyon. Don't get. I'm not gonna get your guys' hopes up. Yeah,
The three of
but-
you guys ever work together?
As coworkers, I don't think, at least me and Elliot have, I don't think we actually were ever on a short film because I transferred there. So it wasn't until my junior year, his sophomore year, that I was even at Grand Canyon. We really didn't even get to know each other, even though we were coworkers, till like right around when COVID hit. So by that time, I was working on practicum. At that point, I was getting my business set up. So unfortunately, I just didn't have the time. Although, based on your and Hank's stories, I really wish I could have been part of some of these Elliot films. They sound like amazing like projects that are actually really cool and disasters at the same time, and I love that dichotomy. I love that dichotomy in everything.
Perfect. Yeah.
Anyways, So the new single, out of what, like 12 singles at this point?
I think me and Aaron counted the other day, and it was like 10-ish, 10 or 8, 10, 9, 8, somewhere.
This is the first that was actually put in a record store, though, right?
Yes, yeah.
That's exciting. First, that was actually played on the radio, too.
Yeah. It was super cool. Basically, so Stinkweeds. Yeah, right. Wow, there's a graphic. Okay, very cool. Yeah, so I've been going to Stinkweeds, which is like an indie record store, and when I was in there shopping one time, I'm like, could I like drop off a CD or something? They're like, yeah, we take basically any local artist. And so I called them up again after I released Broken Record, and they were like, yeah, just bring it on a CD. Super cool. And I just like made 3 copies. I literally got this from I got like that case from Walmart. So very cool quality, very exclusive. Yeah. And then they were super awesome, and they let me sell it at their store.
And what was it like hearing your song on the radio for the first time? Did you know it was going to be played? Like, did they tell you beforehand?
So that's a story.
Because you have a video of it somewhere on social media, right?
Yes, yeah. That's a story in and of itself, basically. So when I was doing the marketing for the song, right, I'm like, I got to get this as many places as I can. Like, I got to get this everywhere. So I researched, and I found an independent radio station in Phoenix, and they take requests. So one day, it was actually like, it was at like a work party for... And I was like, I texted all my friends like, hey, Texas radio station, play Broken Record. And we literally like text bombed the station. And on the radio station, sure enough, they were like, we're getting lots of text requests for this guy named Elliot Saldivar. And they played it, yeah. And I have a whole video.
That's hilarious because I didn't know what like the text bomb was about. I just remember one of our coworkers just said, give me your phone, Zach. I'm like, okay. And then they just like texted like some random like area code that I didn't know. I'm like, what is going on? That's good to know that it was for a good cause, getting that song on the radio. That's hilarious. I didn't realize that what was going on. That's hilarious.
I pretended to be like a old mom. So I texted them, I said, can you play Broken Record by Elliot Saldivar? Me and the kiddos love that song with like laughing emojis and like the wine emoji. It, like, I don't know.
It was very Karen. It was very Karen.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did that even become a thing? The whole Karen nonsense.
Because
I don't know.
I feel like everyone has dealt with a Karen. So it's just like a very
But why the
relatable-
name Karen?
It's
Maybe
just
it's
the
just a popular
name, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that name just like screams like, you know, stuck up middle-aged like suburban like woman without like specifically calling like a common name out, because you can't be like, you know, Deborah. Like that's way too common. Like people actually get like like Karen, like it's common enough to where like you still get the idea, but you're not gonna be like like there's not gonna be enough people where it stops. Or like you get to pick a name that like there's not enough people that have that name that they'll be like, no, I don't like this. I don't like this. But it still fits that sort of demographic that you're trying to describe.
That was a great explanation.
He
it up,
complimented.
Zach.
Did we get that on film? He complimented me. That never happens.
I
that
feel like
on
you've
my
been there.
strike?
Did you put Karen Kelly? Are you really doing this right now, Hank? This is why I should be
funny.
behind. I would never do that to you if you were on
Single
camera.
and looking. Still.
Mr. Karen Kelly.
Do we have any tweets for Zach? Or any tweets coming in for Zach? We'll keep a
I'm not
close eye
live
on that.
tweeting.
You, hush. You obviously have your hand in so many different things, right? Filmmaking, musician, grew up in Washington, relatively close to Seattle.
Yeah,
You kind of take credit for being one of those Seattle musicians.
I guess Pacific Northwest. Yeah.
How far out?
So I basically I grew up on the U.S., like the border of the U.S. and Canada, like all the way north of Seattle. So like on the border.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what inspired you to become, you know, not just like a guitarist, but a musician? Because again, you're putting out a lot of stuff. You're obviously very passionate about it. Like, what were some of those inspirations early on? Like, what really made you tick when it came to music?
I don't know. I love music. Like, I feel like I just like grew up singing around the house, and like my family didn't, you know, just endured me constantly singing. It didn't always sound good, so thank you to my family for enduring that. But yeah, I just grew up singing, and I don't know when I started producing. I was in like a high school band. Like I had a little band together, and we wrote actually I'll Be There For You was like originally in that band. And it was like kind of my church, like
The Friends theme?
no, not the Friends theme, the Christmas song or on the Christmas album. So that's kind of where I guess I started, I guess, kind of in that band. And then from there, I just taught myself basically through YouTube how to use Logic Pro and got involved at the GC recording studio, and the rest is history.
When was the first time you played live?
Live was with my high school band, or just myself, or with like.
Yeah, like the first time playing in front of an actual audience that could critique you or boo you off the stage.
Well, I guess that's the other thing. I've like in like senior year of high school, I did a lot of church band stuff. So we had like playing for that band, so that was in front of an audience. But we had a talent show at the church where we played "I'll Be There For You." So that was like the first live like original song I played.
Were you nervous?
I was like very nervous. It's a high song. Like I don't know why I write poppy high songs, so it was definitely a strain on my vocals, and I was playing bass guitar at the same time. So I'm like, yeah. So just like it's like two things to think about, and also like the band, and like you have the in-ears in. It's like it's a lot to think about. But
Sean, when was the first time you played live in front of an audience?
Never. I'm not a musician.
When was obviously that was the pun. When was the first time you sang in the shower?
All the time.
Zach?
All the time.
I hate the sound of my own voice, so I nowhere.
Good
I
job,
did-
Zach.
I
Brownie
didn't-
points.
wait, I wasn't
Answer I was looking for.
okay.
Do we have any of those tweets? Here it is. Zach's mom sends a lot of love for her boo-hoo bear. It's good to know Mrs. Kelly's watching the show. Someone's got to keep a close eye on you. Keep you on your toes.
You do that. I don't need more people.
Well, thanks for Mrs. Kelly for the tweet on the show. I'm glad she's listening.
Thanks, Mom.
When was the first time we met, Elliot? Was it your freshman year?
well, we all met through work, right?
Right.
So it must have been like on a baseball production, like a.
And you're not a huge sports guy. Again, like we don't really have like I guess like the biggest experience you guys can get with cameras and video production is shooting athletics. Or at least at the time. I know it's kind of
it was
changed a little bit.
It's gotten more geared toward like the student original programming, but because we're separate from athletics now, like we don't do any athletic stuff now. So, but yeah, it was really cool to get like live production experience with baseball and stuff.
And do you feel like you've definitely grown in the last 4 years doing it? Because you already have done it anyways. Like, would you say you've learned more in high school when it comes to filmmaking than in college? Or do you think because now you've had the reps over the past number of years?
I mean,
It's
I would
different.
hope that film school would teach me more.
You
than
never
high
know, though.
school.
It's
You
true
never
though.
know.
Yeah. No, I learned a lot in high school, but I've definitely learned. I feel like just I've been put through my paces.
Yeah,
in
you got to go
college.
out of your way to teach yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
'Cause, like especially at GCU, like in what do they call it, the cage, like where you get all your film
Yeah.
equipment. Like sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not.
They've
Yeah.
definitely gotten better, but just the cage in general just doesn't have enough equipment for you to get it, and it's not always guaranteed. So if you go in a week before, you could maybe have like great lighting, or they'll just give you, a very cheap, broken,
I think
light.
the part that was the most frustrating about it is they actually had good equipment. They just never had it in enough quantities. So like
Yes.
he's like, you can't have all the things you need, but you'd go a
Yeah.
week in advance. But there was someone that go 8 days before, and they checked it out, and then you would just get like the tiny like light or like the really bad Canon lens as opposed to the nice ones they had. You're just like, it's there. I know it's there. They have it. It's just the quantity of it. So that was always. But it was always fun sometimes when you had those lesser equipments and you had those like TIs that you rented out instead, finding a way to make it look good. I always found joy in that. And that's the same thing with like working at GCU. Sometimes when things were just going not right, I think you learn a lot that way too. That's why I think the job was so good, is because some of those baseball shoots were not the smoothest. They were not the smoothest thing in the world. And I imagine you as a commentator also have that experience as well, not even the productions. Sometimes when things go wrong is when you learn the most.
Oh yeah, like I've seen directors and producers throw things, like across the back room. I'm like, what just happened? Because they're freaking out because the take button's not working or whatever. Yeah, there were a few times where we're in the back, like especially in the soccer stadium, you're like right behind the director, so you can hear everything that they're saying, and you still have to adjust on the fly. And
Absolutely.
commentate
I
the
don't know if you
games.
remember, Elliot. That was the tiniest room. So like with the soccer one, when you do like the soccer live streams, it's the tiniest room. So it's like you can't like scooch away from the director if things are going bad and they're not like handling together. You're right next to them. Like, all right, I guess I'm right next to them. I have nowhere to go. There's like 10 square feet in this room.
Like, I do my job. Just focus here.
Visors on.
Yeah, right.
So you're strictly on the campus side now, or
Yeah.
like the GCE, I should say.
Yeah, well,
So what do they have you shooting work-wise?
Ask GCU, Lopes, Living as Lopes, also just event coverage, like B-roll stuff. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And what are you doing to keep your reps up?
Well, I work for Intramural, GCU Intramural. I just got that job, and yesterday was my very first shift. So it's a very, very new job, and I'm excited.
Are you just shooting content?
Yeah, just right now it's football, flag football, and then it's volleyball. And then I think after that it's going to be basketball, and I think more volleyball. But yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
That's good for both of you. Are you guys going to continue working on films together?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that was your MO, at least last year. Like, we worked on 2 different films. There was University, and then there was the short that Evan did.
Evan, yeah.
That we lost Diego for like 5 hours in the middle of the desert.
Bro,
The worst set I've ever been.
That was insane. Like, I've never, like, actually, you always talk about losing people, right? Or, like, you're like, don't get lost. He actually got lost. Like, it actually happened.
In like the middle of like the desert, and just like
No cell reception, almost had to call the
Nothing.
police.
Yeah.
And then you just found him hitchhiking on the side of the road.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, that was
You
super
guys
scary.
found him hitchhiking?
Well, yes.
Also, he was lost.
Well, no, like, we were out pretty far in the desert was the thing. So,
We could have been slaughtered. Nobody would have, nobody would have found us.
Yeah, they would have been
Quite
looking for us.
nerve-wracking.
no, yeah. And we've been talking to Evan about that, too. Have you heard
Yeah,
anything about
when's that film coming out? That's
Well,
2
I
films
asked
that we've
him-
worked on together.
I
and
asked
haven't
him,
seen.
and he's just like, "Well, I'm busy doing work," and it's just like, okay, but at least give me some of it. I'll edit a little bit of it, But
So frustrating. Have you given your product out to your actors yet?
Yes, yeah. So the solution I have for you guys, because I'm still finishing up the final like festival version for Burden, is because the audio wasn't great, and so I had to like with one of the audio engineers here. They helped me do ADR with all my actors, but then I still had to do that and then change it because like I couldn't get some of them in. I couldn't re-record some lines were just not salvageable with the way like the footage lined up, and so I'm having to like re-edit it and like add effects for it to be festival worthy. What I did is I took it as good as I could, put as much filters on, trimmed it as much as I could. I still sent one out to all my actors. It's a 15-minute version, not quite as good. What is it? What's on there?
It says, Zach, your order of edible pencils came in. I signed for you.
I don't chew pencils. Anyway, thank you, Hank. Thank you. Like I was saying, I can't. I
Do
sent
you
out.
want to go pick them up?
I'm not.
I'll
I
stall
don't
for
eat
you.
pencil. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I ended up
so
sending.
brutal.
I really want the final piece to be more of a closer to a 10-minute, like more like concise cut. But I got like most of the raw footage out in a 16, 17-minute one, where the color isn't always the best. There's some noise I haven't taken out yet, and the audio isn't always the cleanest. Not some of the sound effects are in there, but it's still something to where like my DP could still put on his reel because I still had most of the footage. The actors could still put it on their reels for stuff like that. So that's allowed me to like monkey off my back. So when I can work on the festival version, I have it. But then because I feel like I do feel for you, Elliot, because it's just like you have so many other projects, and sometimes when people like harp on you like that, it's hard to even want to because it's just like you almost want to stick to them. So I almost think like putting out even one that's not going to be the final product of the festival one that's good enough for these people to put in reels so they can get other work and show it off. That's what that really helped me with Burden. It's helped me make a lot more progress with that and not have the same monkeys on my back that you're dealing with.
And we're always busy too, with like you and me, like we have jobs, school, and it's just like there's so much stuff that takes priority over than passion projects.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to get your job done. You got to get
Gotta pay the bills.
your school.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's a good idea though. The rough cut, like just even something like even like an assembly cut would be great. so then you guys could have it for your reels. And I am working on, I don't know if it'll be released before like I start working on the film, but there is a rough cut of a trailer as well. A trailer. A rough cut of a trailer.
Tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
But it's looking really good, and I've been learning how to color more because I really had a specific vision in mind for the colors. Like, I really want it to be very 80s, vibrant, very, like, punchy, like, look type. Like a very filmic look.
Are you going to add fake film grain, or are you not going that far?
Of course. Are
you?
Like, you know
that.
it.
Oh.
Well, I feel like that's kind of standard, right?
I mean, you're gonna do 80s. You have to add the fake film grain because all those
Yeah.
bad indie films that just had way too grainy footage. You gotta have that aesthetic.
Yeah, right. And to hide the high ISO, high ISO footage.
What?
No,
We
just-
didn't film at like 1200 ISO. What are you talking about? That's just the film grain. Come on.
No, I think we lit the film pretty well. We spent a lot of time on lighting, and
A lot of lighting was happening.
we have this huge tungsten light at one point where it's supposed to act as the helicopter. And my friend Diego, you know Diego? Yeah, Diego.
The kid that
the
got
Lost
lost.
Boy, the Lost
The
Boy.
kid
The guy that
Yeah.
got
For
lost,
5 hours.
literally, we were like, okay, he was like a PA. So we're like, Diego, can you take this light outside the window and move it back and forth? Like, to be like the helicopter. He was like, yeah, as long as I get credited as helicopter in the credits. So, yeah.
All right, so Elliot, we're going to be part of a film. I want to also write a script where I can also be credited as helicopter because that sounds incredible. I will whatever you need me to do. I want to like put in IMDb Zachary Kelly as helicopter.
Inviting yourself to be a part of someone else's film. Pathetic.
Hey,
Pathetic.
you got to put yourself
You've
out there.
done the same thing with me. Commercial, but not film, but similar.
You offered it to me.
Well, now we're changing the order of events.
Do we need to leave the room?
Me and Sean.
Children.
Yeah.
That's why Robin's here.
She's the
If I go too
mediator.
far,
mediator,
it's like,
yeah.
all right, all right.
It's like, all right,
Too far into film territory.
Robin just goes,
It's an
all right,
endless-
Zach's sensitive. He might actually cry, Jack. You got to pull it back. I'm not cleaning up Zach tears today. Just don't have the time for it.
Do we have any more tweets headed Zach's direction,
Please.
Hank? Well, stay tuned for those.
Oh,
on the
Kleenex. I'm ready. Okay, you can go all out now, Jack. I'm ready.
We're on the let's see what he whips up. On the table, between the three of you filmmakers, what was the worst, without dropping any names, worst actor that you worked with and why?
I like how you knew.
I
right
want you
away.
guys to go first because I'm going to take a while for mine. Mine's a bit of a rant.
Go ahead, Elliot.
I don't have one in mind yet.
You might have to go first.
Am I gonna
Zach.
do my rant
Too much
first?
dead air time.
All right. Okay. So this was when I first transferred to. All right, hold on. Just in case you're mean.
Up here, we got another tweet.
I one
I one
time
times-
stepped on a snail. Turned out to be okay. I'm definitely crying for that one.
The jeers.
That's my business. I went into business with that man, by the way. Anyway, so my rant was when I first transferred to GCU. There was I think it was like the basic production class, and we had to do just this one like short 2-minute thing that you'd film it and you slowly add sound and you slowly add other things, and my friend had a GoPro. And we ended up deciding, like, okay, we're going to have it's like GoPro. It's like someone's late, like a kidnapping sort of thing.
Okay.
And, and I was like, okay, that way I don't need good actors. They can just have it on their head and, like, they just, like, move and stuff like everything. Like, they don't know, there's no facial expression. There's no dialogue they're doing. I'm like, this will be simple. This will be easy. And I'll just be the person, like, kidnapping. And I'm okay for this small project with my acting ability. I've never seen someone with such a slippery head in my life. We had, like, 6 layers of tape around like this. I feel bad because it did get in her hair, but I also don't feel bad because she would always like, I'm like, hey, just give a little shake like you're actually being chased and everything while you run. And like somehow the GoPro, she would fling it off of her head and she just goes, it's uncomfortable. I'm like, it's a minute. We need you to keep the GoPro on your head for 1 minute. And she would fling it off. It was literally like, what's the Smith sister, the Smith daughter? Willow? Is it Willow Smith? It was like it was like whip my hair back and forth. It was like that music video, but just with a GoPro that wasn't mine, and we were like, oh, that's really close. Are you getting really close? Can you get closer?
As white
All
as snow,
Oh
ladies and
boy.
gentlemen.
Okay, but yeah. So at one point we finally get her to do it. Like, but now we're in the part where she's not in the car anymore. Oh my god, she's not in the car anymore, and we're just like near like this like dirt lot that we found, and there's like a giant like boulder, and she, oh my god, I hate you so much. I need another Kleenex because you're embarrassing me on screen. Oh my god, that was too dusty. Now my eyes are red. Things are going horrible. Anyway, and she literally flings it, and this GoPro, as soon as we got out of the car and like she's like supposed to run off, she like, I don't know, like a banshee just with her head, and the GoPro goes flying and hits a rock, and it shatters in half. And I had to pay for my friend to get a new GoPro.
Wow.
And she literally ghosted me. She dropped the class and ghosted me. To be like, can you help like pay for it since you like broke it? And I never heard from her since.
Everything lies on the director. There was one
Wait,
scene.
hold on. Oh, wait. Did you just say that was?
Hush. I'm talking. The host is talking. You're in the driver's, or I'm in the driver's seat. You're in the passenger seat, pal.
No, you put
that was
me,
almost strike three.
No, you put me in the trunk. Passenger seat is what Elliot has right now. I'm in the trunk, hogtied right now. That's what I am. Continue.
So there was a scene, I think it was in Hobbs and Shaw, where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Roman Reigns were in a scene together, and they were chucking axes. And when they screamed action, they weren't supposed to actually chuck them. They were supposed to do that, and then they were gonna like CGI it later. They were gonna add in effects later. I guess Roman Reigns didn't get the memo because as soon as he was called into action, they like turned, they were hitting people with the axes, and then they tomahawked them over their heads, and he actually threw it right into a cameraman and knocked him out cold, knocked out 5 of his teeth.
Oh. Ow.
That's the most Roman Reigns story I've ever heard, though. That like I completely believe that story, 100%.
So we heard his story. Did you guys brainstorm over the last 10 minutes or so while he was rambling?
Honestly, my experiences have been pretty good. I'm gonna pass it over to Sean.
For student short films, there's like a standard where it's not always the greatest because they're either your friends or they're like brand new. They're brand new actors. So there's a lot of leeway with student short films, but I would probably say this person, they said that, you know, they've acted before, they even have their YouTube channel, all this, and they would just give me like the worst emotions to anything, especially with like the lines. And yeah, it has to do with some of my directing because that was like one of my very first shorts I've done. But I don't know. It was just like so hard to get the reaction of like acting in general.
Was it just all monotone with like just no inflection and any of that? Yeah.
It was like there was a serious tone with it, and they just weren't giving it their all, and I could tell because I've seen their work, and I was just like, come on, you know, let's give a little bit of effort here, you know.
I think at a student level, that was what was the most frustrating with actors, was not necessarily if it wasn't great, you knew they weren't trying, because you know that like a lot of times they're doing it just for like just because they're friends with you, or you know, hey, it's just, you know, for their real because they're new, or they're just doing it like for the food. But it's just like when you've seen them like in some regards like put effort in and they're doing less. I don't expect you to become like this, like a better actor than like the skill level and the experience that you have. I just want you to like put your best, because it's not just me, there's other people, there's like the crew and stuff like that. Just everyone else is putting their effort. I think it's just more frustrating when they just don't put in that fullest effort. It's more of that than I think the actual like level of acting that I think will frustrate me in student productions.
It's got to be difficult too, because some of these people don't even want to pursue it. The people that you invite on, right? Like we have some really great actors, or you know, in the GCU film department. But then there's a lot of people you just call on because you need a body. And like they can't really live up to your expectations.
Just like, hey, this dude flanked on me. Can you be in my short in like a few hours? Like they're like, well, you know, and it sucks because, you know, you always want more preparation and more a budget, but it's a student short film. You know, you don't have a lot of those, you know, a lot of those resources that you would get on just a regular short film or an indie, you know.
So out of all the films you guys have worked together, you've been working together for a while, you're good friends.
Right.
You know, you drove him here, so he doesn't know how to drive.
Well, no,
Hold
he
on,
drove.
Are you using my CD as a coaster?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow.
a
little
broken
water on it.
record.
Broken record.
Hey, plugging it. Available now. What was I going to ask you? See, you lost my train of thought.
Working together.
Oh, working together.
Yeah. Do you guys have any specific films you have in mind moving forward? And also, would you guys ever want to do something that was just so, not barbaric, but so out there, controversial, really gets people thinking?
I think that'd be fun. Yeah. I mean, me and Elliot, like, we've worked together for almost 3 years now, so we just kind of know each other's styles, and like we coexist a lot. But yeah, I don't know if you want to announce the.
Do we have an
Well, this
announcement?
is
Do we have a premiere
big a
announcement?
time as ever.
what we're
Two
gonna be
premiere
shooting
announcements?
in like a month.
Oh,
Guys,
okay.
The
Yeah, we could,
restaurant.
Spit it out.
actually, I don't know. I kind of
This
want
is
to
a
keep it
big O
secret.
show. Two
Keep it
premiere
secret.
I'll keep
announcements?
it. We are going to shoot a music video, and we're planning on doing it. It's for a new song. I'm actually tracking vocals for it next week in the GCU recording studio. So it'll be my second studio single. And yeah, so we're going to try to shoot in like a fast food restaurant because I wrote this song about a terrible boss I had when I worked at Dairy Queen in 2020. So, 2020 had its ups and downs. That was definitely a down. So it's like a song based off of a terrible, superficial boss.
Wow, big time adversity right there.
Yeah, right?
You must have really hated them to write a song about them all these years later.
I was literally on break, and then I was like, I'm going to write a song about this. Boop, 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 boop. And I did
That's such a great double-edged sword because it means we're getting a great new music video from you, Elliot, but that also means we're pushing university back even more. So, great music video, even later delay on the short film that's been 10 months, You win some, like you said, ups and downs. It's all about the ups and downs. All right, another tweet.
Well, let's see what we got from your secret. Ooh, you have a secret admirer,
Oh,
Zachy.
God.
You really are the true old-style Jeffersonian of other Skype varsity. Wow.
Okay, we should not let
Of the
him.
Blatherskate variety.
Can we
I should
not
say.
let him use that graphic anymore? He's giving him too much power.
That's the greatest graphic I've ever seen.
No, do not pick his side. No, we are not. Hank, which camera do I need to look at? I think it's this one.
Dude, act like you've
can't
been
tell.
there before. You're embarrassing me. I'm giving you a prime time spot on the edge chair.
Shall I go break out the boxing gloves?
Yeah, they're right
Right
here.
Are we,
here.
are we,
Yeah,
are we
see?
boxing
A
on
proud
air?
sponsor.
I'll lose a sparring match, but I'm down to lose on air.
It's the uppercut that matters. Zach.
It is. You're right. Uppercut's the best one. That's what
If
Floyd.
it wasn't
That's what
for
Floyd
Robin, where would your
Mayweather taught me.
confidence be?
Nowhere. It would be in the sixth circle of hell. It'd be that low. That's how low my confidence would be out, Robin. But that's why she's here. She's here to make sure that I don't cry or bring me Kleenex. One of the two.
Cover your face with one of those.
Oh, probably the towels. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. All right.
Did you
You're on
empty
a
the
short
whole
Mayweather in front or
Of
behind?
course.
Okay,
Yeah.
sponsor. Got to keep the
Gotta
sponsor
get the
happy.
sponsor
Okay.
going.
There we go.
There it is.
Perfect.
Blow your nose in it.
Mayweather Boxing opens Halloween weekend. Is that correct, Jack?
You
Shout
almost
correct
got
shout
it
out.
right.
I said Halloween
I'm
weekend.
sorry, Evan.
Halloween weekend was correct.
We got to talk about what was it? Lip sync? The lip sync battle? The nerds?
Oh, yeah. From freshman year?
Yeah, that was freshman year.
Freshman year.
That was freshman year. Yeah.
I think we got a few of those picks. Yeah, there's one right there.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
You guys like
unironically
stalked
how
me.
we-
This
So
is like a real podcast.
Hank was
Wow.
telling me that there's a story behind this that, not to put you on the spot. You asked that girl out on a date. You went out on one date. What happened?
Yeah, so there's a story behind it. We were doing lip sync together, and the whole story was that like this nerdy guy wants to get with this girl, and there's like a film behind it, and there's what camera should I be looking at? Just FY, is it this one?
That one right there.
Okay, so yeah, there's like
Hank, zoom in very close. His face is really red right now. I want to get all of that.
So anyway, yeah, there was. See now, dang it. Now.
See, it doesn't feel great, does it, Elliot?
I
Doesn't
feel
feel great.
intimidated now. This is scary.
He's so
This is
embarrassed.
This is every week for me, Elliot.
So
That's what
essentially-
I experience.
You're just constant state of embarrassment.
That's called life for me, Elliot.
Oh, okay.
Stop talking, Zach.
I have the
He's
towel.
telling
That's
a
good
story.
enough.
Okay. So anyway, what happened was we rehearsed. We filmed the film thingy, which is actually in the GCU library, which is pretty cool. And then backstage, I don't know if I've ever told like anyone all of this before, but backstage we were just sitting there, like me and Alyssa is her name, and then do you guys know Austin Rockwell?
Who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly, right? So he was on one of the teams, and he was like, yo, you have to ask her out, like, on stage. Like, people would go crazy for it. And me and her kind of looked at each other, and we're like, all right, yeah, we could do this. Like, let's do it. And then, so it was it staged? Is that kind of staged? I feel like that was staged, I guess.
But there was like real.
But it was real. Like, we
on
asked her
practice, you could definitely feel the vibe, per se.
Okay, maybe, yeah. I don't know.
There was definitely like some little flirty action going around.
Okay. I could agree with that.
I was like, you think so? You think she was into me?
It definitely wasn't fake, per se.
No, it was real. And so, like, I asked her out. We went on a date. We went to Novel Ice Cream, which is like it's donuts with the ice cream in the middle, which is really cool. And then we went and saw Zombieland 2 after that,
Thought it was better than the first one.
which was really
Double
funny.
tap,
It
really
was
funny.
It was actually very funny. Yeah. And then we kind of went our separate ways after that. It didn't really amount to anything. So
It just dissolved.
yeah.
Did you ever get a reason why?
No, not really. We just like, split paths. Like we're still friends. I mean, we've been rehearsing for something this year too together. So like we're working together again. Yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
Still directing, still having that chemistry, still building those relationships as you should in college.
yeah. Right. So I guess it's good that we're still friends. Yeah.
So now that we got that out of the way, how was the lip sync battle?
Lip
Oh
sync
my
battle.
gosh, so
Well,
much
this
fun.
man was in it too. This is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's your
fun.
time to shine, Sean.
Yeah, I mean,
Hank, close up on Sean.
close up on me. Should I look right here?
There you go.
Oh yeah.
It's all on you now.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so much fun. Oh no.
It's scary, right? I'm scared for you.
The fact that he's doing it slowly is the best part.
Yeah,
not
it's
just a
like-
rapid, just
It's not even
anticipation.
nice and slow. I don't even know where to look anymore. Just talk. Yeah.
just talk.
Talk. The
yeah.
camera's on you, Sean.
Yeah.
You're live.
I'm live. I just really love doing that. I've done plays in the past with a really small Christian middle school and high school, so it was like a crowd of 100, but doing it in front of like almost 9,000 people is just it was just a new level of fun. And that's how I became friends with Elliot. Oh, I'm really close. Okay.
You're
Good
glowing,
thing-
Sean.
I'm glowing.
Yeah. Can we get that frame? Just like, can I screenshot that later? The wink.
I'll have
Yeah.
my team send it over.
Oh, thank you.
Your agent.
Is that Hank? Is Hank your team?
I don't know. Are you guys going to work on, was it Midnight Madness? Is that what it's
Midnight?
called?
No.
You guys don't even know what I'm talking about?
But you're talking about the basketball thing, right?
Yeah.
Midnight
Oh.
Madness?
Oh yeah, I am filming that. Yes, event coverage for that.
Do you guys know the theme?
It's like Stranger Things this year. Yes.
That's actually pretty interesting. I like that. What was it, like Jurassic World 2 years ago?
yeah.
Mhm.
It was.
That's pretty cool. All right, last thing I want to talk to you guys about. One actor you'd each like to work with, if you could, any actor in the world, in the universe.
Emma Stone.
Really? Why?
La La
Out
Land
of
is my
everyone.
favorite.
La La Land was great.
La La Land is like what got me to go to film school. Like, that's how much I love that movie. Yes.
Shawnee?
I'm a very big Spider-Man fan. That is like my favorite movie, Spider-Man 2. Sam Raimi directed it. I would have to work with Tobey Maguire.
That's a good one.
I think he has a lot of emotions with his other movies. I would just love to work with him and like be this angry character. I think he'd be fun to play with.
I hope they bring him back in the Coming Home Spider-Man movie.
I think it's happening.
They kind of teased it because they bring back the antagonist from the Tobey Maguire movies.
Yeah, Doc Ock. You know,
that's just a slap in the face if they don't bring him back.
Yeah.
Like, why?
To me, he is the true Spider-Man. I think Tom Holland plays a great Spider-Man, but Tobey Maguire is the first and the original.
Just something about him. You know?
Yeah.
Something about the way he cries, like, you know.
But it's so good.
It's very raw. It is very raw.
The whole story of the 3 movies are just chef's kiss. So good.
Trust me, Sean, like, this is his life. Like, I've been in his room. It's like Spider-Man, 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 Spider-Man. He has like a Lego set with like 5 different Spider-Man on the single Lego set.
You know it.
Like, this man loves Spider-Man.
I even have a Spider-Man tattoo. So.
And really? Can we see it?
Yeah. Right there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's super small. Oh, it's
Another
super
slow
fast.
zoom in.
Super fast
Trust me,
right there.
He was looking at full sleeves.
Yeah. There it is.
He was showing me pictures.
The original, that's the one from the Sam Raimi one. Oh, yeah, look at that. Boom. There you go.
Zach? Not that I care, but I may as well include you.
I would say I'd actually probably go with Adam Sandler because a lot of the way I like to direct movies is I really like the idea of like comedy is like used as sort of a way to ease people into like really like dark subject matter. And between like his and obviously he's a great comedic actor, but between his acting in movies like Uncut Gems or Punch Drunk Love, his just acting style's ability to go from very like goofy comedic to like very like deep, intricate, like complex, like serious acting. It's just something that I would like really like to work with because like that's the type of like films that I like to make.
That's interesting.
And he's always on like an island, you know.
Yeah, he really is by himself. He's kind of unique in that regard because a lot of them like. He's
got his basketball hoop. Basketball, that's it.
He literally like in Brooklyn, he like will go and just like play street basketball with a bunch of people. Apparently he's like really good. Apparently like he'll like just beat like these people in street basketball, and it's just the most hilarious thing. He posts videos on it all the time.
Uncut Gems I thought was his masterpiece.
Oh, it's so good. The Safdie brothers are brilliant directors, and like they owe a lot of credit to that. But Adam Sandler was just incredible in that film.
I have a confession. I've not seen Uncut Gems yet.
Oh.
Dude, it's been 2 years.
I know.
We've learned 2 years for him is like 2 weeks. We learned that throughout this.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's very anxiety-inducing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good.
Like you're just constantly like on edge.
You're
like,
yeah.
The entire movie.
It's an amazing movie. It was definitely like him trying to go his highest, you know. So.
Okay.
Not as amazing as University's going to be. Available some point. Still waiting.
Well, okay, I don't want to set a date, but there is a date on the trailer. So if the trailer does get released soon, there'll be a date, or like a time-ish.
Well, at least this is ready. Broken Record, Elliot Saldivar. Thank you so much for coming on, Sean. Thanks for being a trooper today, Zach. Safe travels. So this was episode 412 of the O Show. Hank, you're going to want to get this. This was episode 412. We are presented by Mayweather Boxing and Fitness. Roll the outro, Hanku.